Hi, good morning, everyone. So, my name is Keshav Rathi. This is my assignment video for BCC subject. And in this video, we will be looking into how to create virtual machines using VirtualBox and establish network between them. We will also be deploying our microservice-based application across multiple VMs. So let's start. So first we will have to install VirtualBox, and VirtualBox can be installed directly from their official website. I will pass on the link in my GitHub repo for the same. Now my first step, the very first step is to create my virtual machines. So to create virtual machines, we just have to click on add. Sorry, we need to click on new. Give name of your virtual machine, for example, Keshav in my case. I will select the ISO file that I have downloaded for the Ubuntu system. Then we can give my hardware configurations, which I've kept it to, and my hard disk configuration, which I've kept it for 25 GB. Since I've already created my virtual machines, two different virtual machines, so I won't be repeating this step. Regarding the network, second step is to configure our network so that our virtual machines can talk to each other. So for that, we will be going under select VM1. We'll be going to settings. Under setting, we will be going into network options. Under network option, in adapter 1, we will select NAT network. In same way, for VM2, we'll be going to settings, networks, and in adapter 1, we'll be selecting it as NAT network. Also, one more configuration that we need to do is go to tools, click on this menu button, go to network, and under NAT network, right? Under NAT network, you can just click create NAT network. I have already created one. So under this NAT network, I can just pass in my IPv4 address so that this IPv4 address will be unique for each of my VMs so that they can communicate. So I'll be removing the one which I just created and I'll keep it how it is now. Okay. So now we'll be going inside our VMs. So this is my VM1 and this is my VM2. As you can see, VM2 and VM1 and my VM1. So my first step is to check the IP address. So to check IP address, I'll just type IPA. So once I type IPA, I can see the IP address here. This is the IP address. This is the IP address of my virtual machine 1. Now, just to see if my IP address talks to each other, so what I will be doing is this IP address, I will be pinging it from my virtual machine 2, going inside virtual machine 2. I'll just type ping IP address 192.168.99.4 and I'll press enter. And I can see my virtual machine 2 is trying to ping virtual machine 1, which means it is trying to communicate perfectly. So I'll clear it. Okay. So my next step is we'll be creating a folder. So for that, we'll be creating a folder. I'll be going inside desktop. This is my virtual machine 2. I'll go inside virtual machine 1. I'll keep it as a main host, virtual machine 1. So ls cd desktop, ls. Okay. So I will be creating a new folder. This new folder will be project VCC. So after coming inside project VCC, what I will be doing is first I will be installing Node.js and NPM. So first I'll go inside super user. After coming into super user, I will just try to install Node.js and NPM. And the command for this is apt install Node.js, npm -y. So once this is installed, what I will be doing is I will be installing Express, npm install Express. So once my Express is installed, so I'll just quickly go in to see. So all my module files are present here. After this, I will be creating a server.js file, nano server.js. So after creating this server.js file, since I've already created my one of the server.js file, I'll be taking it as a reference and I'll be copying this file. Copy, paste. So this is what it does is it is a basic server.js file where we're creating a function called express. Through express, we are assigning a port number 3000 and we are redirecting our request and responses on the root directory of the URL, and our application will be listening on the port 0.0.0. So I'll quickly save it. So after saving it, I can see, okay, servers.js is there, it is created. Now I will init my npm init. I will initialize my node. I will install the Express. So once this is done, I will start my server.js, and the command for that is node server.js. So as you can see, my server is started and it says backend service running on port 3000. So what I will do is I'll go to VM2 and let's see. I will give a curl HTTP 192.168.99.4 : 3000. So as soon as I click on enter, I should be able to see a response. So as you can see, I can see the response hello from the backend microservice, which we have hosted on the virtual machine one. We can go back to virtual machine one and we can see on the localhost basically. Localhost 3000. So under localhost 3000, yes, as you can see, I can see my message hello from the backend microservice. So once this is done, now our next step is I'll quickly stop this and I'll clear this. So once this is done, my next step is to install the Docker. And to install Docker, the command is simply apt install -y docker.io. Since Docker is already installed in my system, I won't be repeating this again. Once this is done, I will create a Docker file, nano Docker file. So after creating this Docker file, I will take this as a reference. I will pull this up. I'll paste it here. So what this Docker file does is it will be deploying my application on the Docker file. And these are all the preset of dependencies that will run before my Docker file starts running. All these dependencies will get installed. For example, npm will get installed, npm start. I will be working on these work directory will be application work directory. and I'll be copying all the my packages JSON into the root and source for, and I'll be quickly closing this off. So once my Docker file is created, now what I will be doing is I will be building this Docker file, Docker build -t. I will give this as Express app Keshav dot. So my application is getting built. Once the application build is completed, what I will be doing is I'll be running this Docker application, Docker run -d -p. This will be running on port 3000. Name of this application is my Express container. And what I want to give it a name is Express app Keshav. So before triggering this, let's go to VM1 and check whether our server is still running or not. So as you can see, failed to connect to the port and connection refused. Now, as soon as I go to VM1 and press enter over here, okay, it says my Express container is already created because I've already did a setup on my Express container. I'll just quickly rename it as Express container underscore cache and give enter. So as you can see, I received one token, and to check if the Docker is running, Docker ps command to check. Okay, fine. My Docker is coming. This is the run ID. This is my image. So I can go over my virtual machine too. And again, I'll clear this. I'll try to see if my application is running. And yes, kaboom, my application is still running. So we have deployed our application on Docker. And through Docker, when we triggered our Docker, it started reflecting on my VM2 as well. Now, the very last step is to deploy our Docker application. To deploy our Docker application, we will be first logging in, login Docker. So was VM1 login.